Hello, and welcome to the Sprint to Innovate 2025 CareerNav Design Thinking Training. My name is Al McLeod. I call myself the ever-evolving innovator. I retired in 2019. Since then, I've done many things, but right now, what I'm mostly doing is collaborating with academic institutions like Red River College Polytech, University of Manitoba, University of Winnipeg, COMIT. I do collaborate with instructors and professors. I do projects, events, training, and I'm the chair of the Red River College Polytech ACE project space. I'm also a startup advisor. I work with a variety and number of startups in the community, advising them on a kind of regular basis. And finally, I'm an innovation and generative AI enthusiast. I really enjoy working with different innovation methodologies such as design thinking, as we're doing today, and innovation engineering and some of the corporate innovation methods. But most recently, in the last couple of years, I've become a real generative AI enthusiast. I use it in everything I do, and I'm a member of MAPE, the Manitoba Association of AI Professionals. So our goals for today are to provide you with an overview of innovation and design thinking, do a design thinking case study to train you in design thinking really quickly, provide you some guidance and tools for a design thinking project, and do an example pitch based on the case study, plus some pitch training insights. So, when does innovation happen? It happens at the intersection of these four lenses. So, desirability is about do customers want it or need it, also known as the human lens. Viability is about the business side of things. Should we do it? Is there a business model that works? And feasibility is about the technology lens. Do we have the technology to develop our innovation? Finally, what's the impact of our innovation on planet and people? And that's where innovation happens. And design thinking says to start with the human lens, all about customers. So this is the design thinking model. It looks like a linear model, but it's not linear. It's intended to be very iterative. But my recommendation is, especially for new people in design thinking, go through the model at least once when you're working on a problem in a linear fashion, and then iterate after that. So here's what we'll use this design thinking case study from the Bank of America to illustrate how the overall model works. So the first thing you start is with a wicked problem, one that you don't really have a good idea of how to tackle the problem. So in 2004, the Bank of America hired design agency IDEO to boost their enrollment numbers. They asked the question, how might we encourage new customers to open bank accounts? So they got a bunch of customers and potential customers together with IDEO people and some folks from the bank, and they asked the questions they started asking questions to those customers and potential customers. And they got some insights from those sessions. So one insight is that one woman rounded up in her checkbook for easier calculations and to provide a buffer. They found that single mothers struggled with saving, had nothing to put aside, and that even a small amount saved is good, provided a financial buffer to help manage financial security. That's the empathy stage. The empathy stage is where you do research and you do deep empathetic listening and observing with customers, and you gather as a lot of data in that first session, first stage. And the other thing you do is you do research, industry research, using all sorts of tools we'll talk about later. And so we have all this data. The next stage is called the define stage. And so here we've got all this data and we take it and we distill it down into a problem statement for a particular customer. So here the problem was reframed from how might we encourage new customers to open bank accounts to how might we help families save money. So our customers are families and the objective is to help them save money. So the next thing after you've got your new problem statement is to ideate, come up with as many ideas as you can on how to solve that problem. So IDEO put together a diverse team of product managers and finance experts and software engineering people and operations staff. They had 20 brainstorming sessions, created 80 product concepts, but one favorite idea, the Keep the Change program. So the team then created a cartoon video displaying the Keep the Change program in order to as a prototype. But what the program was is, and you will have heard of this I'm sure you've seen it everywhere. The idea is they give you you have a debit card with an attached savings account. When you use the debit card, whatever the change is from the transaction gets put into that savings account. So if you buy a coffee for $2.30, they'll charge your card $3, and the 70 cents goes to the savings account, which is kind of out of sight, out of mind. At the end of the year, you'll have several $100s in savings. So the team tested the prototype in an online survey with 1,600 participants and iterated prototyping testing to get the final solution. And the Keep the Change program took off. The first year attracted 2 million customers and has since grown to over 12 million who have saved a total of $2 billion. And 3 in 5 new Bank of America customers choose to enroll in the program with 99% program retention. Very successful program. So now here's our case study that we're going to do our training based on called CareerNav. So this is an idea I've been playing around with for some time, but it's for a new company called CareerNav, and they're going to help students. So their question is, how might we help students along their career path? That's the challenge. So the first thing we do is we enter the problem space, which is empathize and define, those first two stages, and we're going to analyze the problem. So why empathize? Well, you want to understand what customers care about, identify the real customer to problem to solve, and remove your own assumptions and biases, and uncover customer needs and problems we're solving. So you want to understand the perspective of the target customer by observing, engaging, watching, and listening, and do secondary research using AI, learning broader context and perspectives. Understand the stakeholders and systems involved. That's a very important step. Understanding who else is involved and what systems might be interwoven with it, because it could be a complex problem. Learn about recent innovations and challenges of the subject area, and get facts and figures you need to understand the context of the challenge. So I use different generative AI tools when I'm doing my innovation work. One of them is ChatGPT, for example. I also use Claude. The two are kind of, to me, almost interchangeable. They just work differently, but they have a similar purpose, and that's just, as a generative AI engine. They're both large language models, and I use both to see what kind of results I get from both of them. I also use Perplexity, which is a kind of a AI-enabled search tool, and a Wizard, which is an AI-enabled prototyping tool. So start by doing some secondary research, and so we found this Randstad article about career trends 2024 called "Where Ambition Meets a Sense of Belonging." We looked at Reddit and found this 4 million member career guidance Reddit, and spent some time studying it. We also looked at other social media like Facebook, and finally we looked at LinkedIn. And LinkedIn, frankly, is their goal is not to help you in your career. Their goal is a bunch of things, mostly to make money, which is fair. They're a company, but they're not focused on you as an individual. To be honest with you, they're more focused on their overall goal of kind of just growing their business. So LinkedIn doesn't do it what we're hoping for, but it will be an ingredient in it. So here's that Randstad study I talked about. So this is about Canadian versus U.S. students, and talking about their thoughts about their career and what kind of jobs they want. So one insight we got from this was that 51% of Canadian students and 56% of US students feel ambitious about their career. In other words, they don't just want to take a job, they want to actually, be upwardly mobile, try to achieve, higher positions, and move up in their career over the length of their career. And one other interesting part, which is very strange, is that US students, only 20% worry about job loss, and Canadian students, 44% worry about job loss. Maybe says a little bit about the difference between Americans and Canadians. I'm not sure. But we also found out that Canadian colleges graduate 600,000 students a year, and US college graduates 3.5 million students a year. So big target market. Then we got some insights from shadowing college career counselors who found out they did workshops and seminars and did networking events, job searching strategies and industry trends. They provided counseling services like resume reviews, interview coaching, and job search resources. But we also found a lot of challenges they had. For example, they found that technology evolves quickly and requiring counselors to stay updated on new tools, platforms, and job markets with varying degrees of success. We found that there were insufficient resources for niche career fields and limited personalized guidance due to high caseloads. We found the top three career concerns of college students were career indecision. Many graduates struggle with uncertainty about their career paths, which causes them to have a sense of lack of direction and indecisiveness, leading to things like anxiety. And then job market competitiveness. The job market is highly competitive, making it challenging for new graduates to stand out amongst their peers. And financial concerns. Managing financial responsibilities with an entry-level salary is a significant concern. They worry about balancing budgets, repaying student loans, and meeting other financial obligations. And usually don't have enough experience with financials, managing their finances to not have concerns. We then talked to employers about the skills they seek in new graduates. We found that they're looking for technical skills, proficiency in tools like programming languages, design software, generative AI for sure. Generative AI was mentioned more than anything else these days. And soft skills, communication, teamwork, problem solving, adaptability, critical thinking, and creativity. And critical thinking, creativity, both very important when using generative AI again. Experience, hands-on experience through internships, project, or volunteer work, and desirable traits were initiative, eagerness to learn, and cultural fit within the organization. So once we did all that research, had a lot of data, a lot of insights now. So then we thought it's time to start talking to customers, the users we're looking for. So we started doing interviews with different kinds of students. We also want to develop kind of an empathy map to understand, what are their goals and objectives, what are the pain points, things like that. And then also we decided to do a journey map on their college, their academic career to see what they were experiencing there. So when you're doing interviews, first of all, you should have a plan. Who are you going to interview? Who is going to be in the interview? Who from your side? What roles are you going to have? What question areas are you going to cover? And when you execute, you want to listen more than you talk. A little silence is okay. Ask open-ended questions because you don't learn much from a no, but you learn a lot from a story. Use the 5 whys technique. When you ask a question, they give you an answer. Ask why again to go deeper, and set up your rules before the interview. Who's going to do what? And the results, you want to dump your interview notes, and we provide you with a tool, which is kind of like a simple, very, very simple empathy map. So then we started thinking about who's our potential customers. And the first one that came to mind is ambitious students. Second one is kind of major switchers. Third is people in graduate school or going to graduate school, entrepreneurial students. So we had a bunch of different kinds. I won't go over them all. You can look at them, but our focus was certainly on those kind of top 5 where we would start first. So then we developed a bunch of example questions or a bunch of questions that we want to ask. We want to base them on the jobs to be done framework, which is a framework developed by Clayton Christensen. And so we put this in the categories of functional jobs, emotional jobs, social jobs. And so we ask questions about the functional side of things, like what specific skills do you feel you need to develop to be successful? Emotional jobs, how do students want to feel about their career journey? Like what does career success look like to you? How important is work-life balance? And social jobs, how do students want to be perceived by others? Like how important is prestige or reputation in your career choices? And then we looked at supporting jobs. What tasks need to be done that aren't directly in the career, but support that career? So for example, how do you plan to finance your career development? What personal branding or self-promotion strategies do you think you'll need to help with your career? Next one is a big one, and that's obstacles and pain points. What's getting in the way of you achieving your career goals? What do you think those are going to be? What do you see as your biggest obstacles in achieving your career goals, for example? What parts of the job search or career development process do you find more frustrating? We got lots of information here, and this is typically where you'll find some great opportunities for looking into what the real problems are. And finally, success criteria. How will students measure success? Like how will you know if you've chosen the right career path? So once we got students together and asked those questions, and we found a bunch of insights. So for example, tasks and goals, By the way, this is that tool I talked about. It's got tasks and goals, influences, pains, and thinks and feels. So let's look at tasks and goals first. They want to make some money, find a job that aligns with my skills and interests, make sure they're doing continuous learning to develop AI solutions that solve complex global problems, get a great job with big tech, and make their parents proud. From a thinks and feels perspective, concerns about things changing so fast makes it tough to make decisions. Changing careers for those career changers, very scary. How can I connect to the right people who can help me find the right job, getting those mentors and other connectors? And how can I differentiate myself? It's tough to get a job in big tech. Pains or feeling imposter syndrome when thinking of applying to big tech, developing soft skills, overwhelmed by the job search process, and that a couple of people told us they froze up sometimes during the job interview. Influencers are mentors, LinkedIn influencers, parents, career counselors, and generative AI, of course. So then we did a journey map, and that journey map we chose to do, as I said before, is the college student journey, that academic career journey. And so we had pre-college prep, first year, second year, third year, and then of course you're starting your career, fourth year, and then starting your career. And of course it can change. Every college student journey is different, but this is generally what we thought we would use. And we used student experiences, high points, low points, and feelings. Of course, we focused on the low points and the feelings, and we found that there's significant stress on college students during their academic career. This made us think of some other things we could potentially do beyond helping students in their career, that maybe we could help them also in their academic career. And that's the end of the empathize step. As you can see, we've gathered lots of information, but you can't do anything with that, right? You have to now distill it and then make decisions based on that data. And that's what you do in the define step. So why define? You want to understand more about the problem so you know where to focus the solution. And you want to refine that focus of problem to solve, focus on the human and business parts, and deeply understand customers' unmet needs. So what you do is you capture those insights, those things you learned, and questions and other research observations, and you put them on a whiteboard, and then you group them and cluster them into related topics. And then from there, your team will write one or more problem statements from your insights. So here, we talked to people in the HR. We used Perplexity and other AI tools like ChatGPT. We talked to students, and of course, we did some research on LinkedIn, and we captured all these insights. And then what we did is we clustered them into these clusters: career plan, methods, skills, networking, and job search. And once we clustered them into these themes, a bunch of things came clear to us, and our focus became quite quickly on those ambitious students. So what we did is we created a customer persona, and the customer persona is ambitious Gurpreet. She's an extreme user, which is usually like one of the things you try and do is find someone who's kind of a really good example, or define a persona that's a really good example of your ideal user. And so she's 22, single, comp sci, a student, top of her class. And her goals are to be the chief AI officer at a successful company, maybe work at some place like Google DeepMind, make an impact in the AI field, make her family proud, and have a career full of continuous learning and adventures. Her pain points are nervous about her future, unsure about finding the right first job to start her career with a bang, occasional imposter syndrome, and job search process is daunting. So based on this information, we've reframed the problem statement, right? But the first thing we did is we create this thing called the point of view statement. So we're talking now through Gurpreet. So students like Gurpreet, who has ambitious career objectives and lofty goals, needs accessible, effective guidance and support to help them achieve their professional aspirations. And that's a point of view statement. That's as if you're listening to her. So the original challenge was, how might we support students along their career path? The new challenge is, how might we provide ambitious students with the tools and guidance to achieve their career aspirations? So now it's much more tightly focused on ambitious students and their career aspirations and guidance and tools. And that's the end of the define step. And the end of the define step is reached when you've got the reframe problem statement. So now we enter the solution space, and you start that with the ideate. Okay. So we got that reframe problem statement. How might we provide ambitious students with the tools and guidance to achieve their career aspirations? And why do you ideate? You're moving from learning about the problem to creating and exploring solutions. You're really trying to build on the ideas of others, think beyond what has been done before, remove constraints, and you're looking for insights plus stimulus plus diversity of your team will come up with lots of great ideas. And you want to start exploring solutions to the problems. Brainstorm ways to solve the unmet needs of customers, even if they don't know them themselves, right? It doesn't mean you don't have to be told what the problem is. You just, if you're told what the symptoms are, you can figure out what the problem is. You want to do it fast and not focusing on quality or feasibility. Discuss ideas, clarify, and evaluate. So here's some examples of some ways to ideate. One of them is this method I came up. It's a change to an old method called Crazy Eights, called AI Crazier Eights. And then once you finish coming up with your idea, there's the concept creation. So what you're doing there is you're just documenting the idea so that next time you get together in a meeting, you're not debating anymore what the idea is. You've documented it to everyone's satisfaction. So other ways to ideate, brainstorming, like group brainstorming or mind mapping. There are many, many different ideation exercises for something that we're going to be doing as quickly as Sprint to Innovate. Keep to one of these ones. They work and they're simple. So here's the original Crazy Eights. You take a piece of paper, you fold it in eight segments, you put 8 minutes on the clock, and every minute you come up with a new idea. So here, the first one is some kind of a basket for you coming up with your filling your basket like a shopping cart, and then you come up with a new idea. And every one of these is a minute. If you notice here, these are the two of the same idea because what you're doing is this is your third idea, but what you're doing in the next one is you're just expanding that idea. All fair. So that's called Crazy Eights. That's traditional. Here's crazier AI eights, AI crazier eights, I should say. And all I did was for 8 minutes, I came up with a different prompt for ChatGPT and had it developed picture based on that, an image based on that. And so things like VR internship simulator, AI career mentor app, a DNA-based career matcher, gamified networking platform. And each of these just what I found was when I did the prompt, what it came back to me just made me think more. And so it's interesting. You could just do the traditional Crazy Eights, or you could do something like this. So next is mind mapping. So mind mapping is a terrific tool for individual mind mapping or for group mind mapping. So here's the question: how might we provide ambitious students with the tools and guidance to achieve their career aspirations? And so the first thing you do is you use your team and you say, okay, so let's come up with topic areas around this statement. And so we did that and we came up with things like interview support, because we know that was a challenge, soft and enduring skills university, entrepreneurial framework, continuous learner, preparing for opportunities, power moves, generative AI skills. So you come up with all of these different kind of topic areas. And then the next thing you do is you brainstorm around all of those topic areas that you've created. So here, soft and enduring skills. So things like innovation university, critical thinking university, communication university, generative AI university, mindset university. And you can see that these are all very important skill sets. The idea is that we would have this kind of university curriculum around these topics. And the entrepreneurial framework is just kind of like, how do you make sure that you've got your career plan developed, but using an entrepreneurial framework? Continuous learner, so you make a strategic list of the things you want to learn that you keep updating. You optimize the process to make it easier for you to learn, and then you practice those skills. Learning them without practice is useless. And then preparing for opportunities like taking on big projects that look good in your portfolio and in your LinkedIn profile, joining associations like MAPE, going to big events and meeting people, and then having a side hustle is another thing that you can do to do that. I'm not going to go through all of these, but you see the idea, right? And then then the next step is the next step is that you can then brainstorm across the topics. So here we've got AI chatbot, and we've got a continuous learner, and you've got Soft and Enduring Skills University, which has Gen AI in it, and you can see that you can take these three and you can say, how can we come up with an idea that combines things from those three different topics? Okay. So next one is brainstorming. Brainstorming is one of my favorite things, but it's also one of the exercises that has really been attacked over the last few years as something that doesn't work and things like that. Now, people always want to say things like that because it looks good on LinkedIn, but there's some truth to it because it's all about how good the facilitation is. So here we're going to look at a video right away from IDEO on how to do brainstorming. But one of the things that's most important is you pick your facilitator. So one of you students will be the facilitator if you're doing brainstorming, and you will have this set of rules that you want to try to establish with the team. So the first one is to defer judgment. So these are judgment-free zones when you're doing your group brainstorming. So if I have an idea, I expect no one to push back and say, we've tried that or that'll never work. That's not the time to do it. Accept it, celebrate the ideas, and move on. And you'll see how that's done in the video. You want to encourage wild ideas. Wild ideas that are out of the box are great ideas. And that doesn't mean that you can implement them, but it means it makes other people think, and you can take wild ideas back. You can pare them back a bit. It's very, very easy to do that. Build on the ideas of others, and you can use and. So if someone says they have an idea, it says their idea, you can say, that's great, good idea, and then add to it. Stay focused on the topic. One conversation at a time. Not everybody is an extrovert, so make sure everybody gets a chance to speak. Be visual. It's a good thing to do drawings and things like that to kind of get your mind going in a different way. And then go for quantity. In order to have good ideas, you have to have lots of ideas. And that's just a kind of Linus Pauling said that. So make sure you get lots of ideas. So here is the IDEO video.
All right, team. Thanks for coming for a brainstorm today. We have a really interesting topic. The local zoo, the visitors are down 20%. So how might we boost the number of visitors to the zoo? This is a serious problem for them. They want to stay open. They need more funding, all this kind of good stuff. So let's spend a few moments now first and get a few ideas down. Remember, we're going for quantity. Let's see how many ideas we can get. And also, there's so many good ideas out there. Let's push ourselves, try to get closer to the ridiculous. That might be brilliant. All right, so I'll start us off. I had a date night. So, and you might hang out with the animals that are in action, if you know what I mean. All right, what else? What else you got? Oh yeah, what do you got?
What if we do a dress up like your favorite animal day? So it's like a costume theme thing.
Very cool.
What about zoo pop-up at places that kids frequent, the mall, school, parks? Home Depot, I know, has programs for little kids to build, like, you know, crafts, but they're sort of animal lessons, so kids learn. And
I have a night camping, so you get to camp overnight there. So let's get a 5 or 10 more.
So I figure loyalty cards work for airlines and for burritos, so why not have it work for the zoo?
Building out the whole celebrity thing, what if like we pretend that animals are celebrities and we give out like a gossip magazine as an advertisement?
So for an hour every day, they vacate the cages and you get to go swing on the bars and everything that the monkeys have. So it's zoo turn playground.
That's awesome.
What we'll do next is we'll look at these and look for some themes and cluster a couple. And then I think we should even prototype 1 or 2 of these and then take them over to the zoo. It's going to be great, a lot of fun.
So let's review what happened there. So there's some good things that happened. So one of the really good things is at the start of it, the facilitator let everybody take a couple minutes and come up with a bunch of ideas. And as you saw, people were like drawing little pictures on their sticky notes and things like that to help them think. And that was good because everybody had the chance to do that. One of the things that happened that wasn't so good, and in this video, the video kind of had a problem at the time it was being done. But one of the women said, "I have an idea for a Home Depot thing where they do kind of animal crafts for kids." The problem what happened there, and you didn't get to see it really well because of the video crapping out a bit, was that she gave her idea And the facilitator just went, okay, and kind of went on, and her idea never got on the whiteboard. But there were two things there. One of them is what she didn't do was have a yellow sticky prepared. She just talked about her idea. And the process they were using, which I think is a good idea, is everybody has a yellow sticky and they give it to the facilitator. But what he could have done is said, oh, that's a great idea. Write up a yellow sticky for that. So one way or the other, that idea should have gone on the board, and that was a miss. Other than that, you heard things like wild ideas, like they vacate the monkey cage and you swing on the bars and things like that. You never know what that would create as an idea, even though it's a bit wild. So overall, not a bad example. Okay, so we did our brainstorming and we came up with quite a few ideas. Portfolio tool, innovators, sorry, portfolio tool, 5 innovator skills, growth mindset. Sorry about that. It keeps doing it. Hard skills tracker, a free soft skills training, search and recommend, all sorts of different ideas that we could use for our system. So then what we did is we clustered ideas into these clusters. Job search support, skills, innovation training, career manager, and networking. And so what we did is we came up with these 5 different clusters and one other one called Academic Career Advisor. Academic Career Advisor, if you remember, that's what we did the journey map for. And we decided to do a chatbot to help people in their academic career, to help them become a career-ready candidate, as we call it. But anyway, so then we have career manager number 1, number 2, skills, number 3, innovation training, number 4, job search support, and number 5, networking. We think these are all important because I think they go together well to make for a well-rounded system. So then our concept card is CareerNav app for ambitious students. The problem being solved, ambitious students play hard and work harder. They're hoping to maximize their career potential and often have very lofty goals before they even graduate. But they also feel imposter syndrome and therefore struggle with anxiety, even as they strive to go very far, very fast. So the stakeholders are ambitious students and probably other students we can add later who may have different needs, but certainly we've come to understand the needs of most ambitious students. How does it work? We've developed a framework to guide ambitious people along their career. The app will use the framework and various AI methods to supercharge the students' efforts while helping them deal with any insecurities through practice, learning, and support. The app will focus on mindset and skills development, networking, mentor support, opportunity development, career planning, and innovation and creativity training. Specialized mindset skills such as growth mindset, innovation skills, and improv will be taught. Business model, freemium model for ambitious students to encourage adoption, free tier, premium tiers, in-app purchases, ad-supported, sponsorships, affinity partner revenue, and e-commerce. We may not use all of these, but we think all of these are on the table for consideration. So that's the end of the ideate step. The end of the ideate step is we have our idea now that we're going to take forward to prototyping. So now we prototype. So why prototype? You want to learn if it works with minimal effort and cost. Build to think. So as you're building your prototype, you'll get more ideas. Explain complex interactions versus just telling people. You can show them. Learn how others respond to your ideas. And start experimenting with a solution. Start, by the way, with a very low, very simple prototype, and go from there, right? But don't start building big prototype right away. Build something very, very simple. Low fidelity is the best. And then get real feedback and iterate and update based on what you've learned, and then build it, to something that is more high fidelity over time. So some examples of prototypes are paper prototypes like sketches, new journey maps, click-through prototypes, wireframes, storyboards, product description, feature sheets, skits. Skits can be actually kind of interesting. I've seen some really good skits over the years, but anything that explains the idea. So here's our prototype for CareerNav. Let's go take a look at it. So this is the mobile prototype using Wizard, which is an AI-based prototyping tool. So here it is. So CareerNav has career planning, unfair advantage, skills plan. So career planning is an app. Career planning is an app where you have a plan overview, your current plan, your backup plan, and your emergency plan. The idea is you keep these up to date and you track your progress on making sure you're on track with your plans, and then you hopefully never have to do your emergency plan, but I had to in my career, so you may have to. So you make sure you got those plans up to date. So then you've got unfair advantage. And so here you've got what you want. So this is your career aspirations, what you got. This is your key skills and experiences. Which industries are you interested in for your career? And what's your you get from all this, you get what's your unfair advantage. The objective here is that for every job you go to, you're one of the most qualified candidates because of your career aspiration, your unfair advantage. Next one is your skills plan. And so this is a gamified skills plan. So you have your skills plan defined, and then you're working on your skills plan kind of every week, and you're competing against other people for fabulous prizes. Networking is who are the people in our community and in the LinkedIn community that you want to network with, and why, and how do you have a plan to network with those people. Innovation is one of my favorites. Everybody needs to be an innovator, and people who have a lot of ambition should be more innovative even. So we got innovation training, improv training, design thinking coach, growth mindset training, innovator skills training, and then my ideas. My ideas is over time, as you're coming up with ideas along the way, you document them here and flesh them out here. And another two are opportunity management and community. These are opportunity management is about getting those opportunities for new positions and new roles, and then how do you attack them not just haphazardly, but as a concerted effort. How do you apply all of your capabilities and all of your context, et cetera, to make sure you get that opportunity if you really want it. And community is just about like who's our mentors and who's our different people that you want to connect with, and things like virtual career growth workshops and networking mixers, et cetera. Okay. And then you've got portfolio is just about keeping track of all your accomplishments so that you have something always on hand to share with people. And that is our mobile app. All right. And then what we did is we developed some chatbots. So these are the prototypes for the chatbots. So we have Career Ready Candidate. Career Ready Candidate is the one we said about who that will help people during their academic career become what we call a Career Ready Candidate. It'll help you make sure you get the right internships or co-ops, get the right, learn the right things, all that kind of stuff to make sure that you are ready when you graduate to start your career. CareerNav is our main chatbot, and that is a chatbot that helps you with any of the questions and decisions about your career. So, for example, navigating workplace politics, something I struggled with in the early part of my career, and so you can ask CareerNav about that, and it gives you, it says it's a key career skill that combines emotional intelligence, strategic thinking, and proactive communication. And here's some strategies, right? Understand the landscape, map relationships, create a mental map of alliances. And so you're trying to understand who has real power, whether it's real power, position power, or some kind of just influence, and just understand those things really, really well. And it's a really very useful. Could have used this in my career, obviously. What should I know about mergers and acquisitions for my career? And it's taking a second here. Not sure why. ChatGPT must be busy. So it talks about M&A can be transformational events in your career, whether you're an employee, manager, entrepreneur, or business owner. So for me in my career, for example, two of the biggest things I took on were two acquisitions early in my career, and those are things that stand out on your resume and are big deals. So he talks about what are mergers and acquisitions and why companies do them, and really it's more than just kind of what are the implications, but why are they done? What do they mean? What are the implications for your career? So those are the kinds of things that you get with CareerNav. Okay. So I'm going to go back here again. And the last one is Creative Spark Coach. And Creative Spark Coach is one of my favorite things. And it's a thing that allows you to do, it sets up a bunch of exercises for you in creativity and innovation ones. So here's one, for example. So you can do what's called This Meets That. So here's one called the Challenge of NASA Meets Cirque du Soleil. And so we can say NASA inspired Cirque Roadshow based on missions, celestial bodies, etc. I'm going to call it, actually, I'm going to say it traveling. Okay. So, and it'll give you feedback on your idea, and then it'll actually build on your ideas for you, and you can build back and forward. It's really cool. So, all sorts of different kinds of exercises here that you can do. All right. So that's the end of the prototype step. Then we test. We want to test to see what people really think about your idea. It's an interactive stage of feedback. You want to know if it solves the customer problem and get feedback on the prototype. Quotes are great. And by the way, for judging in this in this contest, it's a test cycle, of course, and quotes are great from customers for the judging. Here's a feedback grid. So it's just simple 2x2, like, don't like, and questions and ideas. The like and don't like is great, but I like the questions and the ideas because it tells what was in the customer's head after they did use your prototype. What did that make them think about? And here's a question and an idea that we can leverage. So now I'll test it. Is our innovation workable? So we know ambitious students want guidance and support in their career. We know we have this business model. We know we have some business models we can test. We know that we already tested a mobile app prototype and AI chat prototype, so we believe the tech is nothing special. We can do it. And our objective is to help students be more successful and fulfilled in their careers. So we think that's a very, in fact, impactful innovation. So we're happy with that. And that's the end of the test step. And this is our team, me and a bunch of AIs. Any questions? Okay. So now let's go on and let's do our pitch. Okay, 7 minutes. Let's see if I can do it. So hello and welcome to the Sprint Innovate 2025 CareerNav pitch. So the original problem statement that we worked with was how might we support students along their career journey? So we found some great insights from a Randstad report that talked about said that there were 51% of Canadian students and 56% of US students were very ambitious about their careers. And we found out that there's over 600,000 Canadian graduates per year and 3.5 million US college graduates per year. So we found out some of the students' top career concerns. They had career indecision. Many graduates struggle with uncertainty about their career paths, which can lead to a sense of lack of direction and indecisiveness. And a lot of are concerned about job market competitiveness. It's challenging for new graduates to stand out amongst their peers. So what we decided to do was look at that large, ambitious job market, and we felt that they had more issues and challenges than everyone else, and they were an extreme user for us. So we defined this persona called Gurpreet, who is an ambitious user, 22-year-old single comp sci student. So her goals are to be a chief AI officer at a successful company, work at some place like Google DeepMind, make an impact in the AI field and make her family proud, and have a career full of continuous learning and adventures. Her pain points are she's nervous about her future, unsure about finding the right first job to start her career, occasional imposter syndrome, and she finds the job search process daunting. We found those to be common pain points of ambitious students. They're torn between their desire to achieve and anxiety about issues like imposter syndrome and being seen as too aggressive. So our revised problem statement was, how might we provide ambitious students with the tools and guidance to achieve their career aspirations? So we developed a prototype, and here's the CareerNav prototype. And we used an AI-based UX tool in order to show this. So here's the CareerNav app. It's got all these different features. One of them is career planning. So you develop your career here, and it's based on your entrepreneurial spirit. And you create a current plan, a backup plan, an emergency plan, and you work on those over time, and then you keep them up to date at all times, and you keep track of your progress against those plans. Next one is unfair advantage. Unfair advantage is very important because what it helps you do is make sure that you're always competitive in any job application you go for. So, for example, so what happens here is you got what you want, like what are your career aspirations, what do you have, what are your skills and other assets, and then which industries you're going after. And the idea is that you try to achieve an unfair advantage that helps you against be competitive in the job market. Skills plan is just about your keeping track of what skills you're trying to get, what skills you have. It's gamified, so it's kind of fun. Networking is about who are you connected to and how do you get those strategic. It's more about strategic networking and making sure you're connected to the right people. Innovation is a great one because every student needs to learn innovation skills so they can compete in the job market. And so we have innovation training here, design thinking training, growth mindset, and a place to store your ideas as you make them. And then opportunity management is about making sure that you manage opportunities from your jobs as like projects. A community is just about who are you connected to in our community, which mentors, and gives you opportunities for events. And then finally, what's your portfolio so you can show off your accomplishments. And then we have these chatbot prototypes, like Career Ready Candidate is the one we talked about, where what we want to do is make sure that we help students graduate with the best possible chance at getting that best job right out of the starting gate. And so Career Ready Candidate does that. It helps you make sure that you're getting the right jobs during your academic career, and helps you with things like what soft skills to get and stuff like that. CareerNav is the most important one because it's the one that is for your career. And so with CareerNav, it's things like, how can I navigate workplace politics? And so it talks about emotional intelligence, strategic thinking, and interpersonal skills. And it says, first of all, understand the landscape, build genuine relationships, master emotional intelligence. These are all great ideas for how you manage office politics. One of the things I always struggle with in my career, frankly. Okay, so another thing would be, how do I know about mergers and acquisitions for my career? And it comes back and talks about what does it mean for your career, and then defines what mergers are, what acquisitions, why do companies do them, as a backdrop to then telling you how they can affect your role and what should you do about that. Really great tools. All right, Create a Spark Coach is another great tool and it's about innovation exercises to help your creativity. So what are the benefits of our system? First of all, holistic career life planning, guidance, and support, developing your most valuable network, skills development with emphasis on durable skills such as innovation and critical thinking, supportive mentors and community, and proactive AI-driven job opportunity support. How is it innovative? Well, it's got AI-driven career and life advice. It's digital services connecting a community of amazing people, and a mobile app for ambitious career navigators. And this is me. This is our team, me and a bunch of AIs dancing in the shadows. And that is it. And that was just over 6 minutes. So when you're preparing for your pitch, you want to ask, how do I tell a compelling story and engage my audience? And so in the case of CareerNav, the idea is that there's a lot of students graduating, a huge number every year, and that brings with a lot of anxiety about their career, a lot of challenges, and that the world has become an even more complex place. So that's the hook. The hook is, how do we help those students who struggle with those ambitious careers? You want to make a connection. So I think this is a simple one because I think everybody we'll be talking to will have had an academic career and can probably connect to our story. And then explain the why. Why? Because these students are struggling. So the next is content. What information? So the problem, we know what the problem is. The problem is that there's challenges, and students, especially ambitious ones, struggle with those challenges. The persona is Gurpreet. That is our target audience. As you can see, somebody who's ambitious and smart and driven and all that kind of stuff. And the solution, why does it matter? It matters because students are struggling. How are you solving it? We're solving it with an app, a community, and some AI. Did we test in the market? Not really. Well, I've talked to students about it, and students like it. What's unique and innovative about this? I think the unique part is just that we're recognizing that LinkedIn isn't the answer, and that we need to do something else, and that students need customized career plans for themselves, especially if they really want to have a really outstanding career. So I think I displayed information in a way that enriches my pitch. I think that I tried to keep things to a minimum. I know I didn't always do that, but I tried. I'm not a person who has an easy time of making 10 words per slide, but that, keeping less information on your slide is a good thing. And then images can help tell a story. So I tried to use some compelling images, use some graphs and numbers, and then some simple backgrounds. So that's the pitch prep that you should think about. So the template is introducing your team, and you want to have a team name and catchy solution name, to introduce your problem, what's your challenge statement, who is the customer, how did you reframe the problem statement, and why is it important to solve it? Our solution, and what's the solution? We prototyped the demo, hit the major features directly aligned to the problem. We told how it solved the problem. We had some insights and customer quotes. How is it innovative? We said that, and then we didn't have much of a retrospective, just to kind of explain my team, but I did have time left to do that. And this is a design thinking cheat sheet that you can use when you're doing your work in the challenge. Okay. And thank you very much.